my YouTube channel. My name is Steven. I want to use this medium to appreciate those that are subscribed to my YouTube channel. I am so grateful. A few days ago, we reached 1,000 subscribers. I reached 1,000 subscribers on my channel, so I'm so happy. Thank you so much, guys, for taking your time to subscribe to my channel, to like, and then to share my videos to your loved ones to watch. Okay, if this is your first time as well for coming to my YouTube channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge, and don't forget to hit on the notification button as well, so that anytime I upload new interesting videos like this, you'll be the first person to get the notification. So what I'm going to be doing today, so I'm going to be showing us how you can build a full authentication system using Python. So we're going to be using Flask. Flask is a Python, one of the Python framework to develop REST API. So today we're going to be focusing on building APIs. So if you want us to integrate those APIs to front end, if you want me to show you how to use React to integrate these APIs that we're going to be creating today, so just let me know. Drop your comments in the comment section. Just let me know that yes, and then once I see people are really interested to know this, then I'm going to go ahead to create the front end part of this tutorial. But for today in particular, I'm going to be focusing on creating APIs. So I love to show my students, people, what you are going to be building, maybe something you're going to be interested in before diving into the tutorial in proper. So let's go into my VS Code. So I'm going to be using Thunder Client in VS Code. It's just, you can decide to use Postman as well, but I just love this Thunder Client. It's very light and easy to use. So okay, I'm just going to show us how you can create full authentication. That is, if you want to sign up your user, create a sign up API, logins API for if you want to do email verification, send email as well for to your users to confirm their email address. So all of those things we're going to be walking through today. So let me just show us a demo of how this is going to be. So okay, before we do that, let's go back into Google Chrome. I love to use this website, mail-gamp.com. mail-gamp.com. So it always generates free random email address you can use for testing. So once you just come here, if I want to generate a new email, I can just come here and hit on sign out. So it's going to generate another new email. You see, it's going to generate another new email. So this email we can just use it for tests. So let me click on it, and then let's come back to our VS Code. Let's come back to sign up. So here in our body, we need two things: email, password, and then username to sign up. Username. So let's call this username Steven. Let's call it Steven Dave. Okay. So let's just call it Steven Dave, and then we need to put a comma here to sign up. So the email will copy. Let's just paste that email here, and then is a post request, not get. So let's hit on send now. So once we hit on send, this account is going to be created. All right. So and then the user should get an email address saying that they need to yes, you can see user created successfully. So let's go and check that email. We should get our OTP to verify our email address. So I just need to refresh this guy. So once I refresh, as you can see, the email has dropped here, and then we'll get an OTP here. So I just need to copy this OTP, come back here, and then I need to come here to verify my email. So if I come here and then I put in, this is the wrong email address, and then if I click on send, I should get, okay, say invalid OTP. All right. So let's use a correct email address now. The email address we use here. So let me copy this and then paste this here. So and then hit on send. So user account is verified successfully. So then we can now log in. So if you want to log in, it's pretty easy. So you can just come here and say login here. We just need the email. Then we don't need the username here. So let's say, for example, we put in a wrong password and we hit on send. The system should tell us that incorrect email or password. So let's come here and then we put the correct password here. So I'm using JWT token as well to keep the user login for us to encrypt the user's data. So I'm going to be showing us how to do all of these things today. Okay, so these are the things we are going to be creating today. So it's a full authentication system. So maybe as a bonus, I can just show us if you want to retrieve all the user's data. So but I need to copy this token here. So let's say, for example, we want to retrieve all the users' data. So we can come here and say get, there's another API I created called get user. Okay, and there is going to be a get request. So if I send this here, we're supposed to get, okay, as you can see now, these are all the user has been created in our database. Let me close this guy here. So the new record we created is Steve Dave. We can find it here as well. This is the email. So I'm going to be showing us how you can do this. So, and then don't forget that we pass this authorization there. If it's not there, it's going to tell us that missing authorization header. So I'm going to show you how you can protect your routes, that if a user did not log in, they will not be able to access that particular endpoint. So I'm going to show you how you can send email, a lot of things. I believe you're going to learn a lot of things in this tutorial. So enough of talking. So let's just get our hands dirty. So I'm going to be using PyCharm here. So as my IDE. So this is a project. I'm going to drop this particular project, the link. I've deployed it on GitHub, so I'm going to drop it in the description. So but let's just create a new project because we want to start from scratch. So let's come here and then file. So let's open a recent. So I've created a recent, I've created a project already. So it's called full auth. So this window, then let's terminate this guy here. So yeah, I already created a new project already, and then I put this requirement.txt here. So I'm going to drop, as I've said earlier, the link is going to be in the description. So all these packages here are the things we are going to be needing for our projects, all right, to run successfully. So on your own system, once you have this, don't forget that you must have installed Python. I forgot to say this. So there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube how you can install Python, either you're using Mac, Windows, or Linux. So just go through them, and then if you decide to use VS Code, if you decide to use PyCharm as your IDE, just go online and then download these text editors, these code editors, IDEs. So now once you get here, so let me just clear this. Yeah. So what you just need, the first thing you need to do is just to install all the packages here. I've done that already. You can just say pip install. Okay, then you say -r. Sorry, I wonder why this terminal is behaving like that. So okay, so let's say pip install, and then we give a space. Then we say requirements .txt. So this is going to install all the packages inside our requirement. I have installed it, so I don't need to do that again. So this is just the command you need to run to install all of these packages inside your project. So having done that, so the next thing we need to do is that we need to create some couple of files. So I love to do this a lot. I love to create all the files I need first before I even start coding. So okay, so inside there, the first file we need to create is, let's create a new file. So let's call it Python file. Then the name of the file is going to be run. All right. So then the next file we need to create inside our main folder here. Then we need to create config. It's a Python file. So then the next thing we need to create, having done this, so we need to create a new directory here. So I'm going to call that directory app. So inside this app, there's a couple of files we need to create. We need to create, let's create init here. So this is going to be our base file here. Then the next thing is we need to create a controller. So this controller is the function that is going to be controlling our routes is going to be specified here. So the next thing we need to create again is we need to create models. Okay, so this is where our database model is going to be specified. Then the next thing we need to create is email. So this particular file is going to be handling our email functions. So, and then the next file we need to create is routes, super important. Okay, let's create routes. Yeah. So is there a couple of, okay, yeah, then we need to create another folder here called templates. So it is inside this templates is where the HTML for sending our email is going to be stored. So let's call it templates. Okay, so we've already created this, right? So then the last thing we need to create, the last file we need to create is utility file. So utility utility.py. All right, so these are the things we need to create to get our project running. So what's the first thing we need to do inside this our init? All right, there's a couple of things we need to do here. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to import flask. Let's go inside our init here. So let's import, let's say from, okay, flask imports. We need to import flask. Okay, the next thing we need to import email from flask email. Okay, this is it here. Imports mail. Okay, so then we need to import the ORM we're going to be using, flask SQL. Okay, this is it, flask SQL Akamai, then imports SQL Akamai here, yes. So then we need, and that thing is called, we need to import this migrates, flask migrates. That's what we're going to use to migrate our table, to migrate our model, the table we are creating inside our database. So this is super important too. So is there already flask migrates from migrates, okay, from migrates, flask migrates, it should be imports, sorry, should be imports migrates. So having done this, so the next thing we need to do is we need to say app here, okay, app is equals to flask, then we have this to underscore here, the name. All right, so then the next thing we need to do is to load our config, because there are some couple of things we need to put inside our config. So so let's come here and then let's say that app, okay, dot config dot from objects. Then we need to say that config dot config. We are going to create this particular class inside our config. So then the next thing is that we need to define how many hours is going to take our JW token to expire. Maybe we want to log the user out from our system after 1 hour, after 2 hours. We need to specify that too. So let's say app.config now. Okay, so then we put the square brackets and then we say JWT underscore access. Okay, WT token underscore expires is equals to time data then 1 hour. So let's set it to 1 hour. Anyway, you can set it to your preferable hour. So we need to import this guy here. So let's import it. So import the time from time data here. So once we do that, so after 1 hour, if the user is inactive, the system is going to log out the user. So let's initialize our SQL Akamai here now. We're going to say DB, okay, is equals to SQL Akamai. Then we need to pass in the app here. Okay, so then having done that, so we need to say migrate as well. Migrate is equals to migrate. So we need to initialize all of these guys here, app. Then the next thing again we need to do is the config JWT config. Okay, let's call it configure underscore JWT. Then we need to do this here. I think we need to import this guy. We need to create the function. Okay, yeah. So it's going to, we need to import this guy from our utility. We've not created this function, so maybe let's just okay, let's import it for now. Though it's going to be complaining that we've not created that function from utility. So maybe after now we have to go and create it. So I'm going to say app.utility now. Imports config JWT token. Config JWT. So yeah, it's normal because we've not created. It's going to tell us that unresolved named. So it then the last thing we need to do, not the last. Okay, we still need to do one more thing. So mail is equals to mail. So let's pass the app here, and then so we're going to say from app, okay, imports. What do we need to import? Let's import routes. Okay, then let's import utility as well. Okay, so then because of this complaint, I don't want to see it. So let's just go into our utility and quickly create our config function here. So what we need to do is that we need to say something here. We are going to say that from flask, okay, from flask underscore JWT. I don't think this guy is installed yet, or I'm going to need to install it because it's not suggesting it for me now. Imports JWT manager, then we need to import what is called get underscore JWT underscore identity to identify our user. So this guy is not imported yet. I mean, is not installed yet. So what do we need to do? So let's come down here and say JWT, all right, is equals to JWT manager. So okay, let's see what we need to do to install this guy here. So what we need to do is to install this flag WT extended. So pip install flags JWT extended. We need to do this to install, so that this error is just going to leave. Okay, so once we install it, okay, yeah, so the error is gone. Okay, so that's what we need to do there. Let me just bring this down a little, okay, so that we can see very well. And then maybe I need to okay, so all right, so the next thing we need to do now in this our util folder, I mean in this our utility file, is that now we need to create we need to create a function called configure, okay, underscore JWT. Okay, so we need to create that function here. So and then we're going to say app.config now. App.config, okay, app.config, then this we have this curve bracket here. So I think we need to import app. Okay, so we need to import app. So and then inside this curve brackets we are going to specify our JWT token, JWT key here. So secrets underscore key is equals to your secret key, your underscore, or let's say, I mean, you can give it any name, just make sure it's not exposed, secret key. So I'm just going to be using this for the purpose of this tutorial. So I'm going to say jwt.init app. So we pass in our app here. So then the next thing we now need to do is that let's just create all the functions we need in this utility, so that we are not going to come back into this file. So the next function we need is to create a function that is going to be able to extract our JWT token. That is the user, you know, the purpose of using JWT token is that we're encrypting our user's record inside JWT token. So we need to be able to extract it once it is being passed, that token is passed on the header. So we need to be able to get that token and then extract the user's record there. So to do that, we just need to create a function as well. So the function, let's call it get underscore user underscore from then token. Okay, so it's going to receive a parameter called token. Okay, so and then we just need to say try, yeah, because we need to check for errors. Identity is, this is a variable we need to create. It's equals to get JWT here, and then what do we need to do? Just going to say return identity. All right, so that's what we need to return. Then let's put our except here. There's an error, so exception as E. Okay, and then let's just return none. Okay, let's return none here. at this level. So this is all we need to do inside our utility file here. So another important thing we now need to do again is, let's go into our run.py, our run file here. So we need to say from app now, okay, from app, import app, okay, import app, and then we're going to say if underscore name name is equals to main underscore main for us to be able to run our application. So we need to say that app.run. So we need to set the debug to true, but once you are going to production, just make sure you change it to false. So the purpose of doing this debug to true is because we want to be able to see errors in our console. So that's the excess of doing that. So okay, one more thing to do is let's go into our config. Inside our config file now, we need to connect. We need to be able to connect into our database. All right, so we need to define a class here. Let's say define config. That's the name of the class. So we're just going to have some properties. Okay, so we are going to have this. We're going to have what is called SQL ArcMy here. So it's as L. So underscore database URL. Okay, so we're going to be using Postgres as our database, and I'm going to show us how to do that. So I'm going to be using Postgres. So we are going to be using Postgres as our database, and there is this provider, Elephant Secure. They provide free Postgres database that we're going to use. So let's just go and use that. So let's go into our browser here. So what we just need to do is let me just go back home here, so that it shows us. You just need to log in with your Gmail account. All right, so once you log in, then you should be able to see the screen. You can create a new instance. So these are the instances I've created. So this is the full auth. I've created it already. So to create a new instance, just come here, click on create new instance. It's pretty easy. You can give it a name, call it demo. You can call it demo auth. Okay, so then give it a tag if you like, but let's leave it empty. Then you can come here to select a region. Okay, so you can select a region, then hit on review. So once you hit on review, they provide, it is free, and it's just 3 megabytes. That's capacity, so it's just for the purpose of testing. So they have a premium version that you can subscribe to if you are doing the bigger projects. So click on create instance. So once you click on create instance, you can see this demo auth here. Just click on demo auth here. So once you click on demo, this is the URL we need to connect to our DB. So you can click on it. So just make sure, don't use my own record. Immediately I'm done with this tutorial, I'm just going to delete this guy here. So let's copy this. So once we copy this, then let's go back into our Python here. Then we need to paste this here. So let me format this documents here. So what is this saying? Oh, sorry, I didn't put this scale bracket here. So I need to do that. Okay, Postgres and SQL underscore database is equals to URL. Then we specify this. I'm wondering why it's saying remove variable in function should be lowercase. Okay, it should be class. Sorry, I'm sorry. This is my bad. This should be class. I'm wondering why it's telling us this. So this should be class. Yes, class config. So please kindly correct that. It should be class. I wonder why I'm declaring a function there anyway. So it should be class. Then one more thing we need to do is to say SQL. This time around is going to be, let's call it track underscore modification. Then let's set it to false. Okay, so this is all we need to do inside our config file. Okay, so this is all we need to do inside our config file. So then the one more thing we now need to do at this point is that we need to create our model. All right, so yeah, we need to, because we have some couple of works to do there, so we need to create our model. So let's go to the model. Let's go to model here. So inside our model here, there's some couple of things we need to import. So we need to import date time, because we are going to use this date time. So we're going to import date time. Then we need to import okay, yeah, so this is just what we need to import for now. So then from flask now, from flask, we need to import, do we need this guy here? Let's see, import current app. Yeah, so then we need to import the DB from app. We need to import DB. Don't forget that inside our app we've already this DB is a variable. All right, inside our app, let's just go there again and see where's our init here. So I'm wondering why this is still config. Okay, let's see, is that not the name inside our utility? So let's quickly check this. Config inside our utility here. Why is it complaining? So let's come back to init here, from app import config JWT. Okay, yeah, supposed to be configure underscore JWT. So that's, we've corrected that now, so everything is okay. So yeah, inside our app here we've already specified DB is equals to SQ comma here. So we are going to make use of this DB variable inside our model here as well. So then what is the next thing we need to do inside our model is to create the table. So let's create a class. Okay, so the class is, let's call it user. Okay, that's going to be the name of the table. So we need to pass db.model, db.model in capital letter here. So we need to declare our class here. So what's the first thing we need to do is the ID. Our database is going to have an ID. So okay, we are trying to create a colon here. So what is the colon type going to be? So the DB is going to be string, because we want to be able to generate our own ID. We're going to be using use your ID. Okay, so then what do we need to do? Is a string, and then it's going to be our primary key, underscore key is equals to true. So then the next thing is the username. So we need to declare this table, this colon as well. So username db.colon. So it's going to be a string as well, db.string. Then let's specify that it should only accept maybe 20 characters for username. Then we need to say unique. Yeah, I want it to be unique. Unique is equals to true. So this table is going to be unique, true, capital T. And then nullable, let's say nullable false is equals to false. That is, we don't want the table to be empty. So nullable false. Then the next thing again is the password. We need to specify this. So the password is going to be db.colon. It's going to be a string, because we're going to be actually the password as well. So db string. Okay, db string, then nullable to false. Nullable false. Then the next thing again is email. Email is equals to our email is just similar to something like this. Yeah, yes, it's a string, and then it's going to be unique. So then let's just specify this character to be 100 here. That's going to be accepting. Then another thing again is activate. We want to know if the user is if they've activated the account or not. So I'm going to say db, okay, dot colon. It's going to be a boolean. Yes, it's going to be take true or false. db dot boolean. Then default, we want to set the default value to be false. That is when the user creates the account, this guy should be false by default. Yes. Okay, so then the next thing we are going to do is the OTP token. We need to save this too as well. Let me just paste what I have here for the sake of time. So let's copy this guy and then come on, paste this. So it's going to be an integer, not a string this time around, because it's a number. Integer. I hope I'm correct with the spelling, so I will not run into any issue. So then it's going to be unique, and then let's just remove this nullable. Okay, so and then the next thing again is created at. We want to know the time the user created the accounts. So this guy is going to be equal to db dot colon. Okay, db dot colon. Then the db type is going to be date time underscore. Then the default, now we need to set the default as well. Default which is equals to date time. All right, date time dot utc now. Okay, so utc now, and then the next thing is this update at too. Let's call it updated at underscore at is equals to, so this is quite similar to this guy here. So we paste this here. Then there is one more thing we need to add, is on updates. Okay, so we are going to run this function. I'm going to say db dot function, come on, db dot function dot now. Okay, so that anytime we make an update on our db, we are going to capture that. So yeah, these are the columns we need in the users table. So then what is the last thing we have to do here? We're going to say dev underscore init underscore self. Then we're going to say self now dot username is equals to username. So we need to, because this class user here, we need to, wow, what happens there? Oh, this is strange. Thank God I quickly see this. So this email is supposed to be unique. One thing is missing, which is unique. Unique is equals to true, which is supposed to be capital T here, and then we are accepting, let's say, 100 character here. So yeah, so as I was trying to say the other time, that we need to this class, all right, it has this properties here, the ID, username, password, and then we want to be updating these records inside our DB. So we need to pass this username here. So username, let's call this the ID, user ID, and then the password, then OTP, and then we need is activate. Do we need this activate? No, because by default it's going to be false. So we need username, UUID, password, and OTP. I think those are the things. Those are a couple of things we need. So let's come here and say self.password is equals to password. Okay. So and then we have self.email is equals to email. Then we have, do we have email? Yes, we need to specify email here. So then we have self.otp, which is equals to OTP. Okay, then we have self.uuid now. No, self.id is equals to uuid here. So yeah, this is all what we need to do here. Yeah, this is all what we need to do. So we've been able to create our model now. So the next thing we need to do is that we need to migrate this guy. All right, we need to migrate this database. All right, inside our real database. Now we need to migrate this table inside our real database. So how are we going to do that? So the first thing we need to do, we have to come into our terminal here. So let me clear all of this guy off here. So then we need to migrate this. So and how we're going to do that? So we're going to say the first thing we need to do is to say flask db init. Okay, so we need to initialize this guy first to create a migration folder. So let's say flask db init now. So we need to run this command on our project. So let's just wait for it. It's going to take some couple of time to initialize this. Oh, we get an error. Wow. So what is the error? It said cannot import app from partially initialized model app. Okay, so where is that? In line 5 in utility.py. Okay, so that's where the error is coming from. Line 5. So what's he saying there? Say it cannot import that. So do we need this app here? Do we really need this app here? So because this guy is supposed to be taking this app here as the parameter, so this is not needed. I think that's a pure mistake there. So just correct that. We don't need to. So we don't need to import. Let me clear this. So we don't need to import app here. Let me remove this app so that it not confuse us here. So then let's try it again now. Flask db init, and let's see if everything is going to work fine. Another error here. So can't load plugin SQL dalets progress. Okay, let's see where this error is coming from. Load SQL. So let's come back to our config and see what's going on here. So we have SQL. I hope we are loading this config correctly here. Yes, we are loading that. So then we have the migrate. Everything seems okay. So I might need, let me pause the video and correctly see what is going on. Sorry guys, so there's one more thing, there's one more package we need to install that really escaped my mind. So I think that's why we are getting that error. So let's install this package here, install flask psy. Okay, so we might need to install, oh yeah, I think we need to install the binary. Let me cut these here, and then let me copy this guy. Let's go to our browser and see how it's supposed to be installed. Okay, so let's see. I think it's the binary that needs to be installed. Okay, error install. Let's check Stack Overflow, and then let's see. I don't look. Yeah, it is binary. Yeah, this is the command I'm looking for. So we need to install the binary. So yeah, so there's nothing bad looking for help anyway if you're stuck. So okay, let's come here and then let's clear this and then let's install the binary. So this should work. This shouldn't give us an error. Good. So package installed, and then let's clear again and let's run our flask db init. Okay, we're still getting the error here. So yeah, the issue here we have why we are getting this error is because this guy is unable to connect to our database. So inside our config, we need to change this Postgres to PostgreSQL. So yeah, that's where the error is coming from. Initially it was Postgres you used, but they've updated that. So you need to specify PostgreSQL. So let's clear, okay, and then let's run flask db init. So this should work now. Hopefully, we didn't get any error again. So yeah, so let's see. Saying flask db no command db found. Why are we getting that? We are getting this error that no such command db because inside our this main file here, this is our init file here, there is something that is missing. We need to pass this db inside this migrate. So let me save it, and then let me clear this now. So we can now run flask db init. So yeah, good, everything run fine. So inside our file here, we should supposed to see something, the migrations folder here. So if everything runs successfully, you should be able to see this migration folder here. So then what is the next thing we need to do? So the next thing we need to do is to run flask db migrates. Okay, so we need to migrate our model. All right, so yeah, once we've done that, So there should be a file inside our version here. There should be a file here. We're still trying to prepare the file. Inside our version, there should be a file. Let me see. No changes in schema detected. Wow. So models here. I hope everything is fine. Let's come inside our app in it here. Okay, I hope we are not missing anything for our models as well, because there should be a file that needs to be created inside our version. Yes, there should be a file that needs to be created. Okay, let me see. Let me run upgrade, flask.db upgrade, and see if there's anything that is going to happen. Yeah, obviously nothing was created because nothing is inside this file here. Let's see. Models. Let's check our model. See if everything is okay there. Okay, so it said no schema detected. I think what we are missing is that we need to import a model here. Alright, we need to import models here as well. So very important. So let's now run that command again, flask.db migrates. So we are getting another error here inside our model. So let's see. Okay, I think there's one more function we need to declare at the top here. So let's quickly do that. Let's come here and say dev updates underscore updated underscore ads. So we need to pass something here. Let's call it targets. Okay, and then here now we are going to say targets now dot updated ads. So once targets the updated underscore ads, which is equals to date time. Okay, date time is dot ut now. Okay, I think you are correct. UTC now. It should be UTC now. So let's save that and then let's run our command again. So let's clear this guy here. So everything should work fine now. Flask.db migrates. Okay, so the error still persists, saying db.func. Oh, it's supposed to be function here. Yeah, sorry. Let's add c here. It's supposed to be function. So let's clear it and try again. Now, so we should be able to get a file here. Yeah, it's dictated table user. So inside our version here, we should get a file here created here. So this is our migrated file here. So nothing has happened yet. What we need to do now is that we need to upgrade this file into our database. So then let me clear this now. Okay, then we need to run flask db upgrade now. So to upgrade this particular file inside our database. Okay, so that has been upgraded. Our table has been created. So how are we going to know? So I'm using db beaver here as the GUI we can use to check our table, our Postgres table. So what I'm just going to do is that I need to create a new connection and then connect. So let me come here, let me create a new connection here. So it's a Postgres database I'm using. Let me hit on next. So I just need to copy some couple of things here, the host, the database, and the last here, and then Elephant SQL. So we need to copy what is the host. This is the host here, the server here. So we come here, then we need to post the host here. Then what's the database name? We come here, this is the database name. Let's quickly fill that database. Then that's going to be the same name for our user name here. So the last thing we need to copy is the password. Okay, So let's just copy the password, and then here we need to post our password here. So yeah, the host is correct database, we have the username, then we have the password. So the ports, let me see, the ports should still be the same because they don't specify any port here for us. So then let's use the defaults then. So let's test our connection. You hit on test connection. If everything works fine, you should get a prompt response that connection is successful. Yes, we get it. Connection test is connected. Let's click on OK, and then let's hit on finished. So here we have our new table here. So let's click on this drop down. Our new database is here. So let's click on this drop down here. Then here we find our database, schemas, public, then table. This is where we are going. So look at it now. We already have our user here. So let's view the data from our users table. So yeah, we already have this user is created. We have the ID, username, password, email, and it's active. Everything we specify in our model is already on this database now. So we can now go ahead to start creating some of the functions we need to get to start creating the sign up APIs, to create the login APIs and all. So then the next thing we have to do is we need to come into our controller here. For now, let me close this terminal. We don't need it. So let's come inside our controller here. So this is where we need to create the function to sign up our users. All right. Okay. So what are the couple of things we need to do? The first thing we need to do is let's create the function. So let's call the function. Let's come down here and let's create a function. Let's call it undo underscore sign up user. Sign up user. So this is a function. So this function here is going to be receiving a parameter called, let's call it data. So and then what do we need to do? The first thing we need to do is that we need to say that try. Okay, so we're going to say if there is email that's in the payload, the request payload, if there is email, then in data, all right, and if there is username, okay, if there is username in data, and if there is password in data. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to get those data. If this email is available, if this username is available, if the password is available. So we need to extract this data now. Let's say email here is equals to data. Then we want to get the email from the payload. Then we have username. So if username is available, let's say it is that available username. And then here we have username. So then the next thing is the password. Is the password available? We're going to say the data. Then here we have password. So okay, then the next thing is that we want to know if email or password is not specified. We need, because email and password, they are very important. Email, username, and password. So let's now say that here now we're going to say if let's give it a space here. So if not email, that is if email is not available, or not username, or not password. Okay, so what do we need to throw? We want to throw an error in JSON now. We're going to say return JSONify. So that's what we're going to be using, JSONify. Then we need to import this JSONify now. So let's import it. So we are importing it from Flask. So what is the response we want to return? We want to tell them that error, let's say all payload are required, or all request data. Okay, let's call it all request data are required. Okay, so are required. Then we need to the error, the status code should be 400. That should be the status code. All right, so having done that, so why are we having this to be complained here. So return disqualify. I hope everything is fine. Error response all. Okay, let me see. And then okay, so 400. Then let's come down. Then let's say that if okay, if is email, that is what the next thing we want to do now is that we want to check, all right, if this email has already been taken first. I mean, if the email or password has been taken by another user. All right, so let's just do, we need to create another function for that. So just to make everything more neat, so let's just come here and say let's create another function is email. Let's call the name of the function is email or underscore username. That is, we want to know if the username or the email has already been taken by another user. So what I'm going to do here, we just need to say declare a variable here. Let's call it existing underscore user. Okay, is equals to let's call this existing user underscore email is equals to we're going to say user now. We need to write a query here. We will say user dot query. So don't forget that this user is coming from should be coming from our model. Yes, so we need to import that. So user dot filter by, so it is filter by. We are going to use to filter to just like select where, you know, the normal SQL query now select where email is equals to email on the table, all right, that we're trying to query here, the users table. So we're going to say filter by email is equals to email. So this guy needs to accept this a parameter called email and then username. All right, so then we're going to say dot first. All right, so dot first, we just have to be very careful, it's wrong spelling. First, yeah, that's correct. Then and that one we need to variable we need to create again is existing for existing user. Let's call it username. Okay, let's call it username. All right, so and then here we are going to say user name, and then where we are going to call this where username as well dot first. So the next thing we have to do now is that if, let's use our condition, if existing user email or existing username, all right, then we need to throw an error. That is, if it is, I mean, we are going to say it's true. That's if the username or email address already exists in our database. Let's return true. Okay, let's return true. But otherwise, we need to return false. Okay, let's say return false. Okay, so return false. All right, so this is all we need to do. So we now need to make use of this function now inside our undo sign up user. So we need to make use of this function there. So how are we going to make use of it? Let's just come down here. Okay, so let's just make sure our indentation is correct. So I'm going to say if now if is, okay, I think that's the name of the function, if is underscore existing username taken, then we need to pass email, then let's pass our username as well. So if they exist, don't forget, if they exist, it's going to return true. So then we need to return a JSON response, JSONify. So we're going to tell them that status, or let's call it message. Let's call it message. So what is the message going to be? Let's just tell them email or username has been taken. Okay, so and then what's the status code should be 400. All right, so what is the next thing we now need to do is that we need to, at this point now, don't forget that we want to send an OTP, all right, to our user to be able to confirm. We want to know if the email address they are using is authentic or not, or if they are even the owner of that email address. So we need to send an OTP to that email address. So it's at this point we now need to go into our email file, and then we need to create an email function there. So let's quickly do that inside our email here. Let's come inside our email here. All right, so we quickly need to create a couple of functions here. So here we're going to say from flask, imports. We need to import render templates, because that's what we're going to use to render our templates. Then secondly, we need to import mail, flask mail now, flask mail, so be flask mail from imports, from flask mail imports mail. Then we need to import message. So we're going to use these guys there. So then the last thing we need to import is the app itself. Let's say from app imports app. Then we need to import mail as well. So then there's some couple of configurations we need to use here, and I'm going to be using my own Gmail account to send this email. So I'm going to be using SMT for the our Gmail account, all right, to send this email. So what you just have to do is just that in your Gmail, you need to, there is this in the security settings there, you need to turn off there is this place that asks do you want to allow third party to access your email. You need to turn it off. So it's very important so that you don't run into any error. But if you're having any question in setting this up, just let me know, drop it in the comment section. I'm going to respond to you. But I feel once you go to your settings, then you should be able to find in the security settings of your Gmail, you should be able to find this. It's just a toggle there. You just need to turn it off. Then once you turn it off, then there's a couple of configuration configuration credentials that you are going to need. Your username, that is your email address, and then your password. So let's quickly do that here now. I'm going to say app, config, app.config. Then we have mail underscore server. So that is the mail for the server. So the mail for the server is going to be smtp.gmail.com. all right, so then the next thing again is the app .config now. So what's the name of this? Is going to be the ports, mail underscore ports, which is equals to 465. Then the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to say app.config. Maybe let me just keep copying this guy for the sake of time. So let's change this to mail underscore use TLS. We are not using the TLS now. We are going to set it to false. So capital F. So and then the next thing we need to do is that we need to the SSL now. Mail use SSL. Do you want this mail to use SSL? So let's come here and say mail use underscore SSL. So here we are going to set it to true. So then the next thing is the app.config username now. Config mail username. That is the mail underscore username. So just use your own here. So I'm just going to leave this blank here. Just use your own email here. So here now we need to come to say app.config. Then you specify the password too. So just use your Gmail account password here as well. So password is equals to empty string. So just use your own here. I don't want to display my account password here. That's why I'm leaving them blank. So but just make sure you use your own. So I have config. All right. Then here we're going to specify it as mail. Sorry, what's this? So let's have this to be mail underscore default sender now. Default sender. So once the user open the email, which default sender we want them to be seen. So let's just say maybe at reply. Maybe let's say no reply at test.com. Okay, so these are all the credentials we need to set up here. So then the next thing we now need to do, again, say mail now is equals to mail app here. Okay, mail is equals to mail app here. So having done that, so then we now need to now come down here to create the function as well that is going to send the email. So we need to create a function that will send the email. All right, so now let's come down here. We're going to say dev now. The name of the function, let's call it send email, send underscore email. Then we'll come down here. Then we're going to say that try. Yeah. So we're going to say try with app context. Okay. So this guy is going to this send email is going to be taking up some parameters. So what are the parameters? We have subject, the subject of the mail. It's going to be taking recipients, that is the receiver email, recipients. Then it's going to be taking templates. It's going to be taking templates, and then it's going to be taking some other objects here as well. So let's just put it this keyword here, because we might have a lot of properties or objects that we need to pass inside this parameter that we don't know for now. So that's why we are using these keywords here. Okay, so all right, what's the next thing we need to do is that we are going to say message here. Message okay, message is equals to message, then we specify the subjects here. So then the recipients now, recipient is equals to recipients, that is the receiver now. So the next thing we need to do is the message.html. That is, this is what is going to load our HTML file. So render templates is what I'm going to use. So the templates here, and then this argument here is going to take this as well. So then the next thing we're going to say mail.send. Okay, what are we sending? We want to send the message now. So then there should be an exception here. Except rather, yes. So let's say except. So if there's an error, then the exception as E. Okay, then let's print out the error. Let's print out the error. An error. Maybe there's an error loading our templates. An error occurred. So then let's print out the error. Let's convert it to string and put this here. Okay, should be small letter. Sorry. Okay. So then the next we need to do now is that we now need to create another function. All right, and then we're going to call that function email verification, because it is that function that we are going to pass. It is this function that we're going to pass inside our controller here. All right, that is going to receive the recipient's email. All right, and at the same time, it's going to receive the username, because we want to say want to personalize the email. Maybe dear Steven, Dave, like what I did the other time. So it's going to be receiving the username. So yeah, let's go back to our email file here. So here, let's quickly create this function. Let's call it dev here. Let's call it email verification. Email verification is a function that is going to be accepting recipient's email. Let's just give it email, and then it's going to be accepting the OTP as well, and then the username. Okay, so then the next thing we now have to do is just that we're going to say subjects now. What is going to be the subject of the mail? Subject of the mail is going to be email verification. Email verification, that's going to be subjects. Then the recipient now. Recipients. So the recipient is equals to the email. Yeah, that's the recipient's email. So then the template now in which we are going to create now is an HTML template. So what's the template? The template name should be email verification.html. We've not created this, but we'll soon create this now. .html. Okay, so Let me just close this here so that we can move this up a bit. Okay, so then the templates, then at this level we now need to call the send email. Then we now need to pass in the parameters, subjects, then recipients, okay, recipients here. Then we need to pass the templates as well. Then what are the other parameters we need to pass? The title. We need to pass the title of the email. So let's call it email verification. Then okay, which other thing that we need to pass again? The greetings. There something. Let's say greetings. Let's call it greetings. Yeah, it's equals to. It's going to be a string. We're going to say hello. We need to do some concatenation here. Hello, then we are going to say plus. Let's put this empty string for space. Then plus the username. Plus the username, and then let's say plus the comma. Okay, so yeah, this is all we need to do here. So this email verification is going to be the one I'm going to call inside it's going to be the one I'm going to call inside our controller. So what we're just doing here is that I think we are missing one more thing, the OTP, which is super important. So we forget to put that here. OTP is equals to OTP. Okay, so yeah, these are all what we need to do here. Very simple function that we need to create, and the function is going to do send our email once the user sign up. So there's one more thing we need to come here to quickly do. We need to create email verification HTML template here. So let's just come here, click on new HTML file. So let's call it email. Make sure the name is the same with the name of our templates that we specify. So what do we call it? We call it email-verification. Email verification. So if it knows it's going to throw an error. So here the title of it here is the title we are passing. So let's use these two curly brackets here. So then we need to say title. All right, just as the way we specify it inside our email here. Look at it here. Look at what we are passing. See, we are passing this title here, we are passing it here. So we just the same thing we are going to specify here as well. So the body now, so let's have an H1, which is going to be the greetings. Okay, so greetings, this is going to be the greetings. All right, and then let's have a P tag here. So I'm going to say that please use the OTP. Please use this OTP, or please use OTP to verify your email address. So then the OTP now. So let's put an H1 here. So this is just a simple, I mean, it's not a fancy email. So you might just need to use a correct email template for your project. But I'm just trying to show us how it's being done. So the OTP here, we need to specify it. So I think those are the things, those are the variables that we are passing: the title, greetings, and then OTP. So to be very sure, let's see, this is OTP, greetings, and then the title. All right, so those are the things that are needed to be passed inside our email verification here. So let's go back to our controller. Yes, so let's go back to our controller here. So what do we now need to do? We need to do something. So we need to call that email verification function inside here. So let's come here and then make sure we do the correct indentation. So we're going to email, okay, email underscore verification. Email verification. So let's try to import this. Okay, we already imported now. So what do we need to pass here? We need to pass email. We need to pass email. Then we need to pass we need to pass OTP now. Okay, so we've not created the this OTP. We need to create a variable here. So we need to generate a random 4 digits OTP. So I'm now just going to do that. I'm going to say OTP is equals to random. I'm going to use this package, this Python package, to generate a random number. So I'm going to say dot rand init here. Okay, so this rand init here. Then what's the range of this number? Is between 1000 to 999, because we want to make it a 4 digit, between 1000 to 999 here. So then we can now make use of this variable, this OTP. So every time someone calls our sign up API, to sign up, we are going to be generating a random OTP for them. So yeah, we're almost close to the end of this function here. So then what do we need to pass is the username. All right, so that's all we need to do here. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to say user now. We need to save the user record right now. So we are going to say user now. Don't forget that this guy here is a class that will define inside our model. So we are going to say email, okay, is equals to email. You know where this email is coming from, right? This email is coming from here. So, and then which other thing? Username is equals to username. So, and then the next thing is the UUID. So I'm just going to say that UUID here. So there is this, what's it called now? There is this UUID, generates UUID library I'm going to use to do this, to achieve this here. So let's just quickly create that function here that is going to be generating our UUID for us. It's going to be returning it. So let's call it generates underscore UUID here. So what is going to return? It's just going to return a string, return a string, okay, then UUID. So it's a package that we need to import dot UUID4. So this is what we need here. So UUID4. So yeah, this is all what we need to do. Don't forget to import this UUID here. So return string UUID.UUID4. So this is what we need to do. So here now we now need to pass this function that we just create, generates UUID. Yeah. So and then the next thing we need to do is the password too. We need to hash the password. Yes, we need to hash the password. It's super important because we don't want, let's say someone something happen and then our DB gets hacked. So we don't want our user's password to be exposed. So what are we going to do? We need to hash the password. So here's the function we need to do here. We're going to say password is equals to generates generates underscore password. We need to import this as well. Password, then let's call it hash. Then we need to pass in the password inside. Yeah, so let's import this guy. So we are going to be importing it from this particular package here. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to import this generate password hash. So we need to hash our password. So then the last thing we need to collect here is the I think we've gotten the OTP. No, so it's the OTP we need to pass. So we're going to say OTP. All right. So yeah, having done that, so we now need to say that DB now. We need to add this record into our database. So DB, we're going to say session dot add. We need to add the user now, the user record to our database. Then the next thing we are going to do is to say DB dot session commit. So we need to do this to sync. Then we say commit. Yeah. So and we need to import this DB. All right. Import DB. All right, great. So the next thing we now need to do is that, having done that, so we need to generate a JWT token as well. So we're just going to say access. Let's call it access token. Okay, access token is equals to create access create access token. So let's pass this. The identity now is going to be email. So that's going to be the unique identity. So let's import this as well. So we need to import this create access token from flask JWT extended. So this email is going to be our identity. You can use, but just make sure that it's going to be unique. So that's why we are not allowing two email to exist in our database, because this email is unique. It's going to be what we are going to be using to identify our user. So that's why we are passing this email identity to create this access token. All right. So anytime the JWT token is passed into the header of our APIs, we can grab that JWT token, extract it, pick up that email. So that email, we will now be able to know the exact user that login into our application. All right. So then what's the next thing we need to do? We need to return something, right? Obviously. So we need to return a response. So what is that response we need to return? I'm going to say return justify now. So I'm going to say that user created successfully is going to be a string. User created successfully. Kindly check your email for verification. Kindly check your email or email for verification. Then here we need to return the access token, because at the front end, guy is going to need this access token. Maybe later on save it in their local storage or any other secure means. So we need to return this access token, that is the JWT token that we created. So the name of the variable is called access token. This is it here. So access token, and then the response is going to be 201. You can say 200 or 201. So here now, so we now need to say else here. If everything did not works out the way we specified it, sorry. So this should be 2: here. So else, then we need to return an error response. So let's return an error response. I'm going to say error, and then what's going to be the response? I'm going to say invalid JSON. Invalid. Invalid JSON. Okay, so we need to still accept. We need to catch another error here. So I'm going to say except. Okay, the exception. Okay, this time around, I'm going to is an integrity error that I want to grab here. Integrity. No, it's not interrupted. It should be integrity. Integrity error as E. Okay, so and then what's going to be the error wants to throw? I'm going to say that error underscore info. Okay, is equals to string. All right, so we are trying to catch the error here in case if there's any error. So then let's print out this error. I'm going to say print error info. All right, so then we need to return this error info as well as a JSON. So let's say return JSONify. Then I'm going to say that error. Then we need to return the error info. Error underscore info. Then here we need to specify the error, the status code to be 400. So this guy should be in the coil brackets. I think that's why he's complaining. Yeah. So this is all what we need to do to be able to create. I know there are a lot of what's it called now? There are a lot of functions we've created. A lot of code has been created here. So, but there is an error here. Something is pointing us attention to this error here. So, what is the error? What's it saying? We have access token. Are we missing anything here? We have access token. Yeah. Then what is the complaint? So I hope this return is correctly indexed. So let's say user created successfully. Could be the issue. Let's see. Expected comma. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, so is there anything that I'm missing here? Okay, there should be a key. All right, message. Sorry, there should be a key. It's expecting us to specify a key here. So let's say small letter message. Yeah, so it's expecting us to specify a key there. Yeah, so the error is gone. So we need to specify this message here, and then because it's JSON, we are returning back. So in case if you miss that part, just kindly correct that. So then this integrity error, so it's asking us to import it. So yeah, we need to import this integrity error from SQL. Where is this? Yeah, this guy. So we need to import it here as well from SQL Akamai here. So just kindly import as well. So this is all what we need to do to be able to create our sign up a function in our controller. So then what is the next thing we need to do is that we need to come into our route here. All right, so inside our route we need to create the API here as well. So what we just need to do is to say at app underscore dot routes. Okay, dot routes. What is going to be the name of the routes is a sign up. Let's call it sign up, and then here the method is post. It's going to be post, obviously. It's going to be post. Then here we need to create a function that is going to undo this our routes here. Def, then let's call it undo requests, undo post requests, undo post requests. Then there's a couple of functions we need to write here. So let's say try. Here we're going to say if request.json now. If the request is JSON, we want to be sure. If request dot is JSON underscore is JSON. Okay, we want to be very sure. So we need to import this request here. Imports from Flask. So if the request is a JSON, then we want to grab this, have a variable. Then we're going to say request dot underscore dot is JSON, not ID. It's supposed to be is JSON. Yeah, correct. Is JSON. Then okay, we're supposed to say get JSON. Sorry, we need to get the JSON from. Yeah, we need to get the JSON. So then here we need to just specify response. This is where we need to call our controller now. Code, and then let's call it status code. Status underscore code is equals to undo. We call it undo sign up user. If you remember, undo sign up user. Then we need to pass data. So we need to import this guy from. We need to import it from our controller. So yeah, once we've done that, then let's return response and the status code. Let's return response and then status code. Okay, so then else, we need to specify else. If it's not a JSON, what should we do? We need to return a JSON response, a JSON JSONify. This needs to be imported as well. So here we're going to say error, specify the error. So our error going to be requests data is not in JSON format. Is not in JSON format. Okay, so let's import this guy from Flask. So then ours going to be the status code should be 400. So then let's come here to do our except here. It's going to be an exception as E. Okay, so then we need to return a JSONify response here. So we're going to say error now. Okay, we're going to say error dot string. Okay, okay, so we're going to pass that error here. So we want to return the error, and then this time around it's going to be the status code is going to be 500. That's internal server error. So if anything can happen at this level, definitely it's going to be from the server. All right, so that's why we are training this status code 500 here. So now, having done all what we need to do, so we need to import this from Flask. Yes, we need to import that from Flask. The app, is it from Flask now? We need to import it from Flask, or we need to import it from the app itself. Okay, let's see. Let's hover on it, import this name, then it should be import from app. Yes, should be import from this app. So this app.route now. So this is all we need to do. All right, so let's go and check if our implementation is correct. So let me just quickly go over what we've done. I know we've done a lot anyway. So the first thing we do is that we come inside our controller. Let me just quickly do a recap. So we created this undo sign up function. All right, that is going to undo our user data. All right, what we're going to do with it, the email, the password we're trying to send, we hatch the password, we send an email as well, an OTP to our users so that they can verify their email address. Okay, so having creating that, so we come into our route here, we declare the route to be signed up, and then we call this undo post request. So what we need to do now is to we need to test what we've done. We need to run the application if it's running fine, if there is no issue, there is no any error we've done. So we need to do that. So that's the next thing we need to do now. Okay, so we need to run our app now. So let's come here. If you are using PyCharm, just click on this run here. So we get some couple of errors already. So it said cannot name render template from partially initialize module flags inside our init here. So let's go back here and let's see what is going on inside. Where do we use this guy? Let me see where this error is coming from. So he's complaining that we configured, mailed everything, DB migrates. Then it's saying that import name render template from partially initialized module flags, blah blah blah. Then in line 3 email, the error we are trying out, the error we are getting the other time. So I don't know, for one weird reasons. So I need to change the name of this file here to emails. I don't know, maybe it's clashing with one of the variable. I don't really understand that. So what we just need to do is that we inside our controller here, so don't forget to rename it to emails. All right, and then once, because we need to import this email verification. So now let's try to run our program here. So let's click on run. Then let's see, as you can see now, everything is running perfectly well, and is running on this particular URL here. So what we just need to do is just that. Let's go to VS Code. This Thunder client is what we're going to be using to test everything now. So okay, so our API is sign up. All right, so sign up, and then here we have email, password. There's one more thing that is missing that we need to specify. That's the username. So this username, let's use test123. So but for this email, let's go back to our browser here. Then let's come back to mail.gamp here. So let's go back, let's use another email, all right, so that we can get a fresh email address here. So just click on this guy here, and then what you just need to do is to come back here and paste that particular email you copied. Just paste it here, all right, and then let's just hit send. So it's a post request, so let's hit send. Let's see if everything works fine. If everything works fine, we should be able to get an OTP and then get a token as well. So everything works fine. We say user create successfully, kindly check your email for verification. Okay, so let's check our email and let's see if we get an email notification. Correct, we'll get an email notification. So let's hit on it, and then here is our OTP. Here is the email. Here is the username. Hello test 123. So in this particular first part of the video, we're able to create some couple of things. We're able to set up our projects, and then we're able to install the packages that are needed to be installed, and then we are able to create some functions. We are able to create email, to send email. We are able to add our password, and a lot of things has been, I believe, you've learned in this video. So I'm going to stop in this particular part of this video. So in my next video, we're going to be looking at how to create the email verification, because without the email verification API, without that endpoint, we'll not be able to log in. So we are going to look at the verification part, and then we are going to look at the login part as well. So these are the couple of things I'm going to look at in my next video. So if you have enjoyed this video, let me know how you feel about this video. Just drop your comments. If you're having any question you feel like you need to ask me, don't worry, just drop it in the comment section. I'll always be there to answer your question. So alright, and then just to appreciate what you've learned today, don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. See you guys in my next video. Bye for now.